Hello, we are Team 5 and we represent Datacron. The goal of our company is to tackle the data science industry by mining, processing, and visualizing big data and adding value for independent pharmacies. This is a sub-industry which has not truly been tapped or represented well yet. I'm Mawish, and in this presentation I will talk about the value proposition. Next, Harold will discuss challenges and opportunities. Then Ike will cover the addressable market. After that, Colin will talk about competitors and our company's exit strategies. Furthermore, Kwame will discuss our business model and lastly conclude with the financial projections. First and foremost, Datacron is a technology partner planning to assist 22,000 independent pharmacies who are part of the United States market, representing 35% of total pharmacies nationwide. Our goal is to help these mom and pop shops navigate enormous unformulated data. Within the data science industry, our product will help independent pharmacies data mine, process, and visualize data to make sense of it and draw sound conclusions to add value to their businesses. Our state-of-the-art application uses machine learning and artificial intelligence to troubleshoot, analyze, and optimize big data with ACE. Next, Harold will speak about challenges and opportunities.
So, having to do with challenges and opportunities. Some challenges we've seen is the fact that the amount of raw data collected has numerous different formats with the pharmacy industry. Things like patient data, prescription transaction data, supply chain data, and etc. And then we also noticed that with independent small pharmacy businesses, usually they have no strategic direction and they simply try to make ends meet like any mom and pop's store would. But with that said, some opportunities we've identified is the fact that the independent pharmacy sector as a whole is at an annual, basically $82 billion market. There's over 61,000 independent pharmacies in the US, and most of these pharmacies do not have a sophisticated data analytical capability. And some additional challenges we've identified was the fact that building a data infrastructure in itself may be costly, depending on the volume and amount of customer data, and also the fact that the type of information we deal with in the pharmaceutical industry has to do with PII, things like medical history. But with that said, some opportunities we've also identified is that there are few data services that are offered at prices below $100,000 for small businesses, and also the fact that there are no data services specifically tailored for independent pharmacies. Most people just pick out a data service because they're familiar with the brand, like Google or Microsoft.
With regards to Datacron's addressable market, there are approximately over 62,000 pharmacies nationwide. But Datacron's target reach will be the 22,000 independent pharmacies, which constitute about 35% of the totality of pharmacies nationwide. These independent pharmacies that we'll focus our marketing efforts on are not part of any of the hospital, university, mail order, or the big retail chains. As our market research revealed, these privately owned pharmacies lack the sophisticated data analytics capabilities that their big corporate retail chain competitors have. Thereby, Datacron intends to fill this gap with our data analytics services, which will offer an enhanced business intelligence to enable our customers stay competitive and increase their overall bottom line. Our market outreach strategy will involve a robust digital marketing approach as part of our overall marketing plan to market our services to these independent pharmacy owners, and thereby we project a 4% market share in our third year of operation by 2021.
Competition in the data visualization market segment is high. This market is one of the fastest growing segments within the larger business intelligence sector, with an expected CAGR of 9.21%, reaching 6.9 billion by 2022. On the grid to the right, you can see that competition is distributed across all four quadrants, with the majority of companies landing in the high performance and market leaders quadrants. With such fierce competition, Datacron views its target market space within the contenders quadrant, as denoted by the green circle. Datacron's biggest competitor is Google Data Studio, which is taking advantage of this open market space while leveraging all of Google's other tools and resources. By focusing on and tailoring towards independent pharmacies, we can differentiate Datacron away from the competition. Datacron's future and potential exit strategy incorporates multiple factors, both qualitative and quantitative, before exiting the market. Our first is that Datacron will consider selling if it does not make within 75% of its initial first, second, and third year monetary targets. Further, if by 2021 Datacron is at 50% of 2.6 million, then the company will actively seek a buyer. If the founding team is not performing at the appropriate level, Datacron will buy out the underperforming members or sell the company. Finally, startup businesses often derive their value from their growth rate. Datacron must keep within 75% of its target growth rate. If growth rate declines over multiple quarters, the company will consider selling.
Next, I'll go over our business model. To scale a business, we have to create value to our customers at a reasonable pricing point. Now, research shows that $250 monthly subscription is reasonable. Our growth model begins with a conservative 40 customers in our first year. Our second year projections is to acquire 1.5% of market share, which is 330 customers, with a third year projection of 4% of market share, which equates to 880 customers. From a profit and loss perspective, we expect to make a net loss in our first year and gradually scale with customers acquisition, which projects us to recognize profits in our second and third years. As we continue to scale, our operating expense is expected to increase as we increase components such as marketing and employee expense, which we have outlined here. Our balance sheet projections show steady growth as this is depicted in our cash and cash equivalents. Our liabilities also decrease gradually as we scale, which is a good indication of successful growth. The sensitivity analysis outlines some what could go wrong scenarios to show how sustainable Datacron will be without meeting our target market. Our break-even analysis for year 2 requires 257 customer subscriptions. Based on our limited cash flow from 1 year, Datacron will struggle to stay in business without meeting our break-even point in the second year. However, moving into our third year, we would have built a stronger balance sheet as our cash and cash equivalents increase significantly and can sustain Datacron even if we make half of our market share, which is 2%. Thank you.